Continuous positive airway pressure machines, commonly referred to as CPAP machines, are currently the most recommended treatment for obstructive sleep apnea. Getting a diagnosis of sleep apnea and a prescription for a CPAP machine are just the first steps. It's also critical to know how to select a machine and the accessories that fit your needs. Joining me are David Brunsma and Mark Zayas to share their tips and advice on selecting the right equipment. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
So let's go ahead and start off with the first, David. What is a CPAP machine? And we have one here in front of us to show.
Well, with me today is as you said, Mark Zayas from Fisher-Paykel. He's the manufacturer representative for Fisher-Paykel, and he brought the Icon machine as well as a couple of masks to demonstrate to you today.
What does a CPAP machine do?
It holds your airway while you're sleeping. A patient who has sleep apnea, it holds their airway open during sleep. Okay. So it's forcing a prescribed pressure into the patient during sleep to keep their airway open.
And what are we looking at in terms of cost for these types of machines?
Most patients use their insurance to get the machine as well as the replacement parts. Some patients will, if they don't have insurance or need a new replacement machine before the insurance will allow, then they would pay out of pocket. And they can range anywhere from $400 to $1,000 for the machines. Just depends on the features that you want.
Okay, and what about the masks? Does insurance often cover the masks as well?
They do, yeah. Medicare covers a new mask, a replacement mask, every 90 days. And so most insurance companies will follow Medicare guidelines, and they'll also cover a replacement mask every 90 days.
Okay. So Mark, tell us, what are the critical features that we need to be looking at if we've received a prescription for a CPAP machine?
A good quality build, and David's familiar with the manufacturers, so the reputation is out there within the providers, so you can help them with that. A key feature for any CPAP is a heated humidifier. A heated humidifier just puts more moisture into patients' airways while they're using the device, because the airflow is a little higher than normally what we breathe when we sleep, and the patient can become very uncomfortable and not want to use a CPAP. So the heated humidifier is a key component of it, and also a heated breathing tube. There's a little heated wire within the tubes that'll help increase the level of moisture content the patient receives.
All right, we have a couple of masks here, so let's go ahead and kind of walk people through what the different types of masks are.
The most common prescribed mask is going to be the nasal mask that you can see on this display head. As you see, the patient has a head harness, but the mask itself is quite small, covers the nose only, and a patient has the ability to connect their tubing. So when they put the tubing here, the airflow comes in, the patient can lay down. As they do, it'll provide the therapy for the patient. So it's the most common used.
Okay.
That's called a nasal mask.
All right.
And
is it the most common, let me just ask you, is it the most common because it's the most comfortable?
Well, it gives you the benefit of not having a larger mass, which is what people are looking for, but it does a good job, has more stability. So of the three masks, they're split almost evenly, I would say, maybe 30% or so each one, but most typically the nasal mask is a good performer, so it's recommended most often.
Okay. What other masks do we have here?
The second mask I brought is called the nasal pillows style mask, and these are this particular pillow's mask will sit right on the nostrils or the nares of the patient's nose. And there's a very minimal head harness for this mask, so patients can easily apply this. And a lot of people like it because it's less obtrusive for the line of sight. So this is another popular way to go.
Okay.
And yeah, it's not still watch the active living show while wearing the mask.
Right, and it's not over the whole head. I can see how some people may not. I like for myself. Gosh, wearing something around my head might feel a little claustrophobic.
Correct. You saw the difference in the head harness, just one single strap compared to a full harness, and then the difference is there's a little more stability in a full harness.
All right, and the final one you have.
The final one is for patients who have a problem opening their mouth or mouth breathing. So this mask is designed to cover the nose as well as the mouth. Okay, so much like the same configuration for the nasal mask, the head harness is very much the same, but it just goes down a little bit further to cover the patient below the lip. Okay. And so this allows people to open their mouth, and it wouldn't be a problem for the therapy. They won't get so many leaks and dry it out and have a problem with waking up. So that's the last one.
Great. Well, those are very interesting and great that people have a choice. David, if they pick one and it doesn't work, they don't like it, what are their options?
The mask can be replaced for free anytime, whether they pay cash for the product or they go through insurance within 30 days. If for any reason, if they're not happy with it, they just bring it back and we will swap it out for another mask and make sure that the new mask fits properly and they're comfortable with it before they leave. But as in with a lot of products, you really don't know the comfort level until you use it
Right.
and experience it. The Top Gun mask here is that's what we call them in the stores because it looks like a fighter
Yeah.
jet mask.
Yeah.
Is usually the last resort if the patient's breathing through their mouth, and that's when they would need the full face mask.
Well, it's great that people have so many options. Mark and David, thank you very much for bringing these in and showing us hands-on the options that people have for CPAP machines. So for a CPAP machine, if you need to use one, definitely have some options for what you would prefer as the patient.